Hello guys, Ninjanic333, and I am begging, I am hoping, and I am praying that this is not a chien-pao mirror match, or that there isn't a single chien-pao deck between either of these players, because I am sick of seeing it. And honestly, I would not be surprised if you guys are sick of it either, but those Ho-Oh sleeves are super sick. I've never seen sleeves like that before, and I think those are maybe based on Hisuian Snow, or Hisui Snow. I didn't see that little short anime series, but we do have those Hisuian Zorua sleeves, are really nice to see. We do see a Jet Energy on the right, so there is hope there. And we see a Charmander on the left. Oh my god, finally, not a chien-pao match. Oh my god. So it looks like we do have Arceus Charizard maybe on the left versus a Giratina V-Star deck. Giratina, probably the most underwhelming of the Lost Box variants. A lot of people think that it's like the best one right now. It is like you either think it's the best deck or the worst deck in the format right now. I would be in the range of calling it the worst deck. I understand why people like it. It is very powerful, but I feel like it's too easily picked off by just the standard Turbo Lost Box or the Kyogre, which I do believe is a lot better. Of course, Kyogre did win the Pittsburgh Regional Championships. Kyogre showing its true power. Andrew Estrada, one of the most storied players in the game right now. Why is there no field? Hello? What are they doing? Okay. Looks like we do have an Arceus start here. I think we're playing Vengeful Punch, and I did see in the prize cards we have Vitality Band as well. So that is an interesting lineup of tool cards to be having in the Charizard deck. I think the Vengeful Punch actually is kind of cool because your opponent's Pokemon will take 40 damage if you hit into the Charizard. So that's not too bad. And we do have the 70 HP Charmander from the Pokemon 151 set that really makes this deck shine a lot brighter than it does in our current standard format over here in the Americas. So we do have the Fire Energy attached for turn 2, the Arceus V-Star. I did play against an Arceus V-Star deck that went attach Fire Energy in past, but it was actually Arceus slacking Zacian V, Radiant Charizard, Box of Disasters, Path Spiritomb. Spiritomb to shut off your own slacking, and the Fire Energy is only for use with the Radiant Charizard. The deck was actually pretty cracked. It took me by surprise. I managed to barely win game 1, and then they just bricked game 2 at Pittsburgh. But, I mean, I was really scared. The second that Box of Disaster came down, if he just had a second Box of Disasters in play, I lost that game. I'm not sure if he was only playing one copy, or if he just couldn't find the second one. It would make sense either way. But yeah, I definitely could have lost to that for sure. But I am much a fan of this Arceus Charizard deck now that I've seen it in action. I did last night watch some of the Pittsburgh regional stream, and I did get to see the round, I think it was 6 match with the Arceus Charizard deck against Lost Box, and it was basically like, if you don't get turn 2 Rare Candy Charizard, you lose, and if you do get it, you win, is kind of how it felt like. It was really powerful being able to charge up Arceus as an attacker, use the Arceus to charge up a second Arceus, or you could always just try to Rare Candy into 2 different Charizards. You use Starbirth to try to set up your Pidgeot, which then sets up your Charizard. And it's just kind of like a chain reaction. Every single turn you can do that. So we are going to go for the Flower Selecting, Lost Zoning. It looks like a Psychic Energy card. We're going to put down our Greninja. Use the concealed cards, discarding an energy of our choice here. You can also discard the special energies with Greninja if you did not realize. It just says N energy card. So if you're playing something like Gardevoir with the reversal energies, you can discard the reversal energies. I did have to do that once during Pittsburgh. And it was the correct play. My opponent had Temple of Sinnoh in play the whole time, so I couldn't really get much use out of it. And I didn't really feel like replacing the stadium. And it looks like we are going to use the Jet Energy to put the Giratina into the active spot. Use Abyss Seeking. Its first attack for 1 colorless energy allows you to look at the top 4 cards of the deck. Put 2 into your hand, 2 into the Lost Zone. Both of these players being 3-0 at this point. A very good record to have. And yeah, those Ho-Oh sleeves with the fire deck is pretty beautiful to see. We just need to see that Charizard come out, maybe that Pidgeot come out. I do know that I believe there's a Call for Family Pidgey that came out in Pokemon 151, so I'm a little surprised that he's not playing that. I mean, I guess if it has less than 60 HP, I would see not playing it, but I think that that would be a really good card to have in the deck. In case you have to start it, you could always Call for Family, bring out a Charmander and the Arceus V-Star potentially. Would not be too bad of a play. Looks like we are going to Ultra Ball here, discarding a Battle VIP Pass and another Ultra Ball. Looks like we have mismatching Ultra Balls in this deck, which bothers me. I always like to have all of my art be the same if I can in a deck. Sometimes I'll play like one full art Pokemon and then two or three of the regular art of a Pokemon. But otherwise, like only if I have, you know, the one of full art. But otherwise, I always like to make sure all of the arts of my cards are the same if possible. You make sure your opponent is less likely to be able to figure out the counts of cards between games. Say you have 4 copies of Judge in your deck, all 4 of them being different arts. Game 1, they see arts A and B. Game 2, they see arts C and D. And then Game 4, they know you're playing 4. Whereas opposed to if you played all of the same art, they would still have only had seen 2 each game and do not necessarily know that you're playing more than that. So that is a reason to keep all of those cards looking identical. Something I also used to do was I would play full art supporters, so that when I'm prize checking, it was a lot easier to check whether my supporters were prized or not, because they stand out a lot more when they're full art. But of course, not quite the a little bit too expensive for my taste these days to be doing it. Although card prices have been dropping as of late for at least the new ones coming out, and we do see the Pidgeot coming out from a rare candy is able to find another rare candy to rare candy into the Charizard. We then rare candy into that Charizard EX. Its ability allows you to attach 3 fire energies from your deck to your Pokemon however you'd like, putting 2 of those energies to an Arceus V-Star and 1 to itself, then hard attaching to itself, and now we have 2 fully loaded up Pokemon just off of a rare candy play is absolutely fantastic. Being able to be pieced together by that Arceus V-Star's Star Birth power is fantastic. Now, if only we had a second Arceus V-Star in play, or second Arceus V even in play, we could have used Trinity Nova not only to do 200 to the opponent's active Pokemon, but also to load up the second Arceus, which is a really great play against Lost Box decks because these Pokemon have a lot of HP and are very hard to be picked off by something like a Sableye. You could also play something like Sharon's Care in the deck to pick up your Arceus V-Star, put it back into the hand. I am very much looking forward to the new Professor Turo. As some of my friends say, I do look like Professor Turo, of course, because I have the sides of my head shaved down a bit. My hair's a mess right now, but when I do it nice, it looks kind of like Turo's. I like to wear the hat when I'm recording because I have all the lights on, and it keeps the light out of my eyes more. I also have like a giant hat collection. Yeah, so 200 to that Giratina is pretty good. I wonder if this deck would play Radiant Alakazam, because if you were able to do like that same attack again, then you could move 20 to the Giratina and then knock it out. But, I mean, that seems like a lot, and also a long shot. Looks like we are just going to Flower Selecting and pass here from the Giratina player. Not a very good turn there. We might even see yet another Rare Candy Charizard here. Would actually load up 2 more energies to the new Charizard, and then even 1 to the Pidgeot. It can attack for 2 energy. You'd have your entire board full of high HP Pokemon that can just do good amounts of damage. Yeah, this is a really scary position to be in if you are the Giratina player. So it looks like we are going to use Pidgeot EX's Quick Search. Search our deck for any one card. Since it's any card, we do not have to reveal it. You only have to reveal a card to your opponent if they have to confirm what type of card it is. And it looks like we are attaching the Vengeful Punch, so if they are hit into, they will take 4 damage counters. We are also going to Boss's Orders, bring up that Giratina that has the damage on it, and knock it out, being able to take the 2-prize lead here. This Giratina deck has not been able to take any prize cards whatsoever, and it looks like we are going to take the Choice Belt as well as, was that a stadium? Fire Energy card. So now if we have another Boss's Orders on this next turn, we can just... Well, I guess now we have the Vengeful Punch on our Arceus, so we can't just boss and knock out a Giratina V. So it would have been nice to have that Choice Belt earlier, but since we prized it, we were not able to quick search for it. Because I think if we could have quick searched for the Choice Belt, I think we would have Boss's Orders brought up the one with no damage on it, knocking that out fresh and cleanly, leaving the other one with all the damage on it. So if it becomes an Arceus V-Star, or a Giratina V-Star rather, it would still be able to be knocked out by any of our Pokemon in play. I guess minus the Charmander. But you could still even knock it out with the Pidgeot. So you can see the sheer power this Charizard deck has. Luckily, when I bought all the cards for the Obsidian Flame set, I did not buy any Charizards. They were a little too rich for my blood, but I did manage to trade a friend who bought 4 booster cases of cards because his son really loves opening packs. So, I mean, I wish I had that kind of money to just blow on 4 booster cases of cards, but he has a lot of copies of every Charizard, so I did manage to pull one from some prize winnings from a Win-A-Box tournament, and it was 1 Full Art Charizard, so I said, hey, can you trade me some more Full Art Charizards? So now I have a playset of just the regular Full Art Charizards. So that is where trading comes in handy. I don't trade a lot. I usually just buy the singles online because it's so much easier. And then you can just have them exactly when you need them, of course. Looks like we are doing our Jet Energy plays, allowing us to use triple Comfey here. Flower selecting. Not sure how many cards we have in the Lost Zone right now. They do not have that marked on the screen. Usually they have that on the face cam, like right here about. But yeah, they do not have that marked right now, so I can't tell exactly what number they're at because the cards are off screen right now as well. And this Charizard deck is going to take at least a 3rd prize card right now. So I think what the Giratina deck wants to do is get to 10 cards in the Lost Zone, then boss up the Charizard EX and Star Requiem it to knock out, because the Charizard EX is the most threatening thing on the board right now. It does have an attack that does 180, and then does an additional, I believe, 30 damage for each prize card your opponent has taken over the course of the game. So, has not taken any prize cards yet, would be a perfect opportunity to knock out that Charizard. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that that Fire Energy went down to the Charmander. I believe that the Charmander is an easy thing to pick off with something like the Sableye, but I guess it is an odd prize, and you're kind of baiting your opponent into playing the odd prize game that way. Maybe having them put 7 damage onto something that's only going to give them 1 prize, and then have only like 5 remaining to put on another Pokemon, and it's not going to end up mattering too much. So right now they really want to be attacking with the Giratina. They could Star Requiem a Charizard and then Lost Impact either the Arceus or the Pidgeot and take 4 prizes, but how are they going to take their last 2? They need to set up 1 more Giratina V-Star, and they need to get this play off this turn, so looks like they might not be able to get quite there, but there is still the possibility as long as the player on the left with the Charizard deck does not ever get another Rare Candy Charizard EX. I think that there is the potential that this Giratina deck can still win the game. It is still a little bit of a long shot, but it is certainly possible. Maybe if they have double cross switcher, they go after the Charizard first as well. They do want to try to maybe play around this Vengeful Punch. I don't think that matters too much. But it looks like we are nest balling for a second Giratina. That's exactly what we need. So we can use the Giratina V-Star Yeah, just retreat the Giratina V-Star, Lost Impact the Arceus V-Star, and then on the next turn, like, boss up Charizard, if it's not already active, and Star Requiem it. It's gonna cost quite a few Mirage Gates in order to get to this line of play, so we'll have to see if it's even possible to do such a thing. We also have to move this Comfey out of the active position. And the reason you want to get rid of the Charizard first is, again, that has the highest damage output once you start taking prize cards. It cannot be knocked out by just a Lost Impact. You have to Star Requiem it. And it looks like we might actually be at 10 cards. Yep, we're at 11 cards. They just updated it on the screen. It is cut off, but it is right there. So it looks like we are going to attach and retreat. And it looks like it might just be a Star Requiem on the Arceus. So with the Star Requiem on the Arceus, how are you planning to take down the Charizard? I don't know if there is a way. Looks like second Mirage Gate. Okay, so we are able to now Lost Impact, but that is our last energy in deck as well. We're going to be really hurting for a Super Rod on this next turn, along with another Mirage Gate in order to finish loading up this Giratina on the bench. And no, yeah, it looks like we're going to go for the Lost Impact, the correct play there. Yeah, definitely no Star Requiem, because you know that Charizard is going to come in and take the knockout there. So we do take 40 damage from the Vengeful Punch. And because of the Vengeful Punch, actually, that Charizard does take the one-shot, because it's doing exactly 240 right now since the opponent has taken 2 prize cards. So the Vengeful Punch actually coming in pretty clutch here, being able to soften up that Giratina to the point where the Charizard can take a one-shot with the opponent having only taken 2 prize cards. The Pidgeot is promoted because it does have free retreat. Anytime you have a Pokemon with free retreat, you want to promote it for a turn when your Pokemon gets knocked out, just because you do not have to necessarily choose who your attacker is for the next turn or who your active Pokemon for the next turn is until after your retreat. So you can play your whole turn out and then retreat. And it looks like we also have a choice belt here as well, so if this Charizard does not go down, it will be able to take the final prize card very, very easily. So we are doing 180 plus 30 plus 30 for the 2 prize cards, plus 30 for the choice belt, plus the 40 that's already on the Giratina, more than enough for the knockout. And we're even going to take Vitality Band off of the prize cards here as well, which is completely unnecessary. I would probably just put it down on the Pidgeot or the other Charmander just to get it out of my hand in case I do get Ionode. I think the only Lost Box deck that even plays Io usually is the Giratina version, and they usually play double Roxanne as well. Not every version of Lost Box finds room for the Roxanne. It doesn't always end up working out super well, but for Giratina, it usually is playing from behind, so Roxanne is a really great way to try to mitigate the slow start that you have by making your opponent's late game slow. But again, this Charizard is just too thick. You now need a Giratina V-Star and a Mirage Gate here in order to respond. But if you can respond here, your opponent can just Rare Candy Charizard, load itself up, knockout. So he plays the Super Rod, puts those energies back into the deck, starts shuffling, and then there is some call from the judge here. I'm not sure. Oh, that he didn't cut his opponent's deck yet from the quick search, I suppose. So you're just making sure that that is done, just to make sure that there is no like foul play and everybody's catching everything that's going on. So do we have Giratina V-Star Mirage Gate? So the Roxanne here is really key. That's going to put the Charizard deck to 2 cards in hand. It will draw 1 for turn and then have 1 off of the quick search. So off of those 4 cards, it's probably going to need to have exactly Rare Candy Charizard. But of course, one of those is a guarantee. So as long as off of the 3 cards, they draw 1 of the pieces, they can use the Pidgeot to grab the other piece. And off of this Roxanne, you do need to draw exactly Mirage Gate, and the Giratina V-Star, and it looks like we did not get there. We attached for turn the Jet Energy. Looks like maybe we were missing 1 piece, which is why we're digging 2 cards deeper with the Comfey. And it was also okay previous to the Comfey play, in order to maybe, we're gonna go for a second Comfey. You could, if you Roxanned yourself and drew into... Oh, yeah. If you Roxanned yourself and drew into one of the energies, you could have attached to one, Mirage Gated the other, and still evolved. And then that's the game. Puts the Path to the Peak down, but did not remove the Charizard EX from the board. So the Charizard is just able to hit 180, not even bothering to count what's in the prize cards, is able to take the knockout on the Comfey for the final prize card and win the game. They're going to mark that on their digital match slip that I wish we had. And as always, guys, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It is super important for that YouTube algorithm. And we will see you guys next time for hopefully another great match to watch like this that is not chien-pao.